Okay, so these are the ones I picked. Gemma and the Giant Girl. Looked interesting to me, like a fairy tale. The girl has red hair, which I loved. Pretty red hair in a braid, and she kind of reminded me of him. So, of course, I wanted to get it. Gemma lives in a very nice little house and has a very nice little life. This is her house. Grabs her life, and you're thinking, there's something off here. It's her mom and dad. Simple life here. But it turns out that Gemma is actually a doll in a dollhouse, which I thought was cool. There's a kid looking in on her. The dollhouse gets moved. Furniture flies everywhere. It's the kid looking in. Dollhouse. They get changed, their clothes changed into different costumes and things. One day she picks up the girl, Gemma, takes her out of the dollhouse, puts her on the windowsill. Oh, and she also cut her hair, by the way. Chopped her hair off, I think, to make her look a little bit more like her, because she has short hair. She gets to see the world, and it's so huge and hard for her to imagine. And she imagines the world outside her window when she goes to sleep. Kind of imagining that she is a regular sized girl like her. Because in reality, she's tiny. She's the regular sized girl, but she seems like a giant to her. Anyways, I like books where it's like dolls and there's a book that I grew up reading. It was called A Child of Their Own. And it was like a small chapter book. And it's about a family of porcelain dolls, like little Victorian dolls that lived they didn't live in a dollhouse. They lived in a toy store. And they wanted to be bought by a child so they could play with them, kind of like Toy Story. Because they said if they don't get played with or whatever, they'll just become these, they'll just be stiff and dusty and just end up on a shelf. They don't want to become a collector's, same kind of concept as Toy Story. I don't know if it came out before or after Toy Story. No, it was before some of the sequels and things where they talked about that. So maybe Toy Story got inspiration for that book. I don't know. They get bought by this woman and they're kind of scared that they're going to become collector items, and she buys them a dollhouse. They puts them in the dollhouse, buys them new furniture and all this stuff, and they're kind of excited exploring this new world of theirs. But they're still a little bit scared of what's going to happen to them. And then at the end, children come in. She was buying all of this for her children or whatever, and they get to be played with by the children, and their life is wonderful. It's a really good book. Next we have Nars. I'm not sure how to say it. Nars. Secret Library. I picked it because I love libraries. I love books. So thought of a secret library sounded cool to me. I didn't know how serious the book was going to be. I actually just read this one myself. I didn't read it to Em. I think she probably wouldn't have held interest. I might try to read it to her at some point, but I feel like she would tap out on this one because it's a lot of words and it's kind of a grown-up-y, I don't know, it's for an older kid, I guess. Say, an older kid that really loves books and loves to pay attention. It's about this girl and her family. I didn't know anything about this really. They live in the city of Damascus. And she's describing how beautiful the city is, how it smells good, and it's just such a happy, wonderful place. The illustrations are really pretty. It's kind of dark and hard to see, I'm sorry. And they were going to form this secret club, her and her friends. Her dad is a baker, and he was going to make this saffron cake covered with almonds for their club. But the morning of their first meeting, they woke up to the sound of planes circling overhead, and shells exploded, and it turns out that there's fighting that has been happening nearby. It has come to where they live, so they're not able to do their secret meeting. Instead, everybody kind of gets gathered up and they go down in the basement to be better protected from the fighting going on outside. And then as time goes by, things just get worse and worse. And then one of the kids goes out and he starts picking up books and stuff that have been, like, their buildings are exploded and there's, like, destruction everywhere. It's horrible. People are staying close. They're hiding down in these basements and they're trying to be protected. But kids go out every once in a while to go get supplies, and he's picking up all these books that he keeps seeing laying around abandoned, and he's starting to form a little library. And they say, why don't we create a secret library? We could start a reading club for everybody. So they start gathering more books, creating this secret library for the people to sneak in, and they put it in this abandoned building, and people go down there and in the basement and read to try to escape the chaos and horrible stuff going on. In the back, there's all kinds of information about Syria. Syria's capital is Damascus, one of the oldest cities in the world. So basically the book's talking about the Syrian civil war in 2011. About 8,000 people stayed despite the terror above ground. They saved 15,000 books from bombed out houses and created a library in the basement of an abandoned building. The author said she doesn't have experience with the Syrian war, but she based it off experiences she had during the civil war in Lebanon in 1975 to 1976, where she herself was hiding in a basement for several months with her family to stay safe from bombs. 12 families from their building spent every night in the basement. 40 children and adults played card games, drank coffee, shared food, listened to the radio, and tried to make jokes, despite the horrors happening outside. And the illustrator had a childhood in communist Romania and lived in fear, has lived in the Middle East for the past 30 years. That's the illustrator. And that's the author. Okay, moving on. Poppy and Sam. I thought this was a cute little book. It kind of, or the illustrations I thought looked cute. Kind of remind me of like Adventure Time. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Adventure Time. Cutesy little, I don't know, illustrations. It's sort of like a comic book in a way, but not really. Has little thought bubbles, and she lives in a cute little pumpkin house. It's a little girl named Poppy, and there's a little mini panda named Sam. It's like her friend. They live in this little, they're like little, with everything's kind of big, like these are strawberries. And it's like they're little fairies or something. He's saying, "Can we eat the strawberries today?" And she's like, "No, not today. They're not ripe yet." And then this little plant, kind of like Alice in Wonderland or something. Little plant with the face on it. Basil. He's like, "It's scandalous." She says, "Basil, what happened?" "Just look at my leaves. Someone's taking bites out of them." So they're trying, it's a mystery. They're trying to figure out who bit out of Basil's leaves. And they're interrogating like the bee and the ants and stuff like that. Trying to figure out who did it, and they try to do a stakeout. They fall asleep. And then Basil starts yelling, saying, "Someone ate my leaves again." And they put honey around her so that they can try to catch the culprit in the sticky honey. But they dig under the ground in a hole and avoid the honey. Then they put bubbles all over her, something, soap, so that if someone bites into it, they'll be like, "Bleh, soap." And then they see all these soap bubbles coming up. Someone's burping. It's Earwig. Little Earwig. Looking guilty. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, she just tastes so good." And she's like, "You only have to ask. The answer might surprise you." And they're all eating strawberries at the end. So, cute little book. It's the first one in a series of books, Poppy and Sam. So I probably will try to check out the other ones because I thought it was really cute. I liked the illustrations. I don't know if they're all like them trying to solve some kind of mystery or what. Okay, next we have My Best Friend. The cute, I love trees. Two cute little girls that are friends. So drew me in. I like the illustrations. Close up little girl. And tire swing. I have a new friend, and her hair is black, and it shines and it shines, and she always laughs at everything. It's cute. She's so smart, and when I say la la la, she says la la la. These girls just playing and having fun together throughout the book. It's so cute. And they seem so close, and they do so much together. And then at the end, I'm not sure about her name, but I will ask her tomorrow, and she will tell me then, because we are best friends. Their parents are taking them away. Like, I'm not sure what her name is, but we're best friends. Thought that was cute because that's totally M. She'll meet some kid at the park or something, and she'll say, we're best friends, we're friends. And I'm like, what's her name? I don't know. And then last, we got Penguins Don't Wear Sweaters. This story was okay. I thought the illustrations were cute. Little penguins. Penguins being penguins, swimming around, doing their thing. And then a boat comes with people and dark, oily, sticky stuff they leave behind. The penguins are getting all nasty and oily. Then people come, take pictures of them, make sweaters, and they put them in sweaters. They clean them, and they put them in sweaters, thinking that will help them. But turns out penguins are not meant to have sweaters. And the author, or the illustrator, this is the author, said that they saw this story in a news feed scrolling across a computer screen. An adorable photo of penguins wearing sweaters made me pause. People around the globe were knitting sweaters to save oil-soaked little blue penguins in Phillip Island, Australia. My first thought was, hey, I can do that, and so can my mom and my sister. We knit. We can save penguins. But then I dug a little deeper past super cute photos and feel-good news. Penguins don't wear sweaters. Penguins covered in oil have difficulty regulating their body temperature. Although wearing a sweater can help keep them warm and stop them from ingesting oil as they preen, it can also have harmful effects, especially on other species of penguins. Experts from International Bird Rescue caution that sweaters are not a useful tool in rehabilitating most penguins. Sweaters press oil against their skin, trapping chemical vapors. Also, the handling involved in putting a penguin in clothing just plain stresses them out. Thus, sweater donations that have flooded in after other oil spills have gone unused. There are better ways to rehabilitate penguins, but as with many things, it's not a simple one-step fix. It's about the importance of reading beyond the short news bites. That's a good lesson right there if you read the author's note. So that's all the books. This is a long video. Who do you think picked the best books? Me or M? Let me know in the comments. What book do you think sounded the cutest or the best? Have you read any of those books? Let me know in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And have a nice day.